So the first song I'm going to show you, I feel like I should do it in the album order, is the title track of the album, and it's called Blood Orange. I kind of wanted it to have like an organic like 70s kind of like feel to it, but also a real like live energy, because we played so many live shows on the last tour cycle, and it was just kind of in my bones by that point, like the idea of people singing and clapping along, but also this story that I really wanted to tell. So this is Blood Orange.
Blood orange tastes the sweetest. I got all the love that I need, and now with you.
So that is a sneak peek of Blood Orange, and that for me was about kind of like the ecstatic, euphoric joy that comes after so much heartache, of actually finally feeling like happy and loved and fulfilled after so many years of feeling so far from that, and also that like infusion of like live energy, and just imagining festivals which seemed a million miles away at the time. It was a few years ago, so yeah. So the next song on the album is a song called Bite Me, which is a story that I really wanted to tell, because it was basically me at the beginning of lockdown, just gone through a breakup, which was kind of my fault, and for the first time I was feeling really like, you know, everywhere I was looking, like supermarkets, parks, I was just like obsessively, you know, hoping that I would see him, and this is the song that I wrote about it. It's got a kind of 70s twist on it, kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Without you, but I can't move on if I try to, 'cause I guess I could say you're the one who's getting away. Out of all the games that I played, this one's coming back to bite me.
So yeah, that's a snippet of Bite Me, which I'm so excited to share with you guys. It's one of my favourite songs on the album, and I feel like it really kind of takes you into that world that I was in over, you know, the beginning of lockdown, when yeah, I feel like a lot of us were scanning every supermarket aisle for someone that we knew. So Weekends is kind of where this whole Blood Orange journey begins, and it's, I'd say, one of the darkest songs lyrically that I've ever written, but also the most liberating. The first voice memo, I was like, I'm never going to show anyone that. But then I was doing a session with Steve Mack, who's one of my favourite producers of all time, and he turned to me and he was like, what's something you said to yourself that's really scared you recently? And I was like, this voice memo. And he's like, we have to finish it and make it euphoric, because it's so sad.
Friday night I'm alone, sat at the piano, thinking about the love we used to know. Spilling stones and teacups, thinking I'm drunk in some pub with people that I hardly know. And I'm so fucking lonely, no one really knows me. You are still a heart out.
Facing the Crowd is one of the closest songs to my heart on this album. It's, you know, a song I wrote completely on my own at the piano, and it kind of like took me back to that sort of lost without you place. When you're going through a breakup and then you realise you've made a big mistake, and you start looking at every crowd, you just start scanning it for their face, like that is all you're looking for. You become obsessed, and you don't want that person to think that you're not, you know? The idea that you've moved on is like, you just haven't.
In the crowd, I didn't wanna let you down. Say you were all that I want, you're everything I dreamed of. I didn't wanna let you down, so I said I could give you all.
This song is, you know, I was speaking to you guys about how hard it was to say certain things. I think for me this was the next, you know, thing I couldn't say, and it was like just basically about feeling, you know, more insecure than you let on, and maybe no one really cares, like in a lovely, like freeing way, like, you know, that's okay. So this is one of the things I thought I couldn't say, and this is a bit, and it's called Perfect.
Maybe it's not worth it, and no one needed perfect. Whoa, my scars fill with gold, so much more now.
Okay, so that is perfect. And yeah, it's a song I'm really excited to share with you guys, and I did play it a little bit on the lockdown live streams, and you guys did ask for it to be on the album, so I heard you loud and clear. The next song that I wanted to talk with you guys through is a song that was definitely, it was a huge sort of turning point for me in terms of like visualizing being happy again, and a huge part of that for me is like when I'm in my darkest times, I kind of turn to like dancing basically, whether it's like at home in my parents' kitchens growing up, or like even now, you know, if you're having a hard night and like, you know, you don't feel very, you know, included or just a bit dark, just having a dance. And for me, this is about dancing your way through the dark times, and it's called Dancing in a Hurricane.
And all the chaos, it couldn't save us, it was a cage you embraced, but I'm breaking out, I'm breaking out, so forgetting you.
So that's Dancing in a Hurricane. And it's about when you're just like determined to not wait to feel better, you're gonna like make yourself feel better, and you're gonna forget someone even though you're finding it really hard. So next up is a song that's like a bit of a wild card for me, but I was out in LA writing and I hadn't been there for a very long time, and I don't know, there was just some dark energy coming my way, and I really felt the need to just write a song about being like, sometimes you can literally be, you know, happier alone.
I think I'll sleep better on my own. I'm not gonna miss all the negative, even when you say I won't. I think I'd be happier, I think I'd be happier alone.
Next on the list is a song that quite a lot of these songs were sort of started a cappella, which I'd never really done before. I'd always been very like on the piano or on the guitar, but there was something about just like singing into the ether that really, like, I just needed to do it. And also I was in a lot of hotel rooms, so there wasn't an instrument with me. So this next song is called Wither on the Vine, and this is a phrase that my mum used to tell me a lot, especially when I was upset or, you know, hurt growing up. She was like, don't give it your energy, don't, you know, I'm quite a fiery person. She's like, don't give it your energy, you know, just let it wither on the vine. Don't like give people that aren't giving you their best.
When your blood runs cold,
I had this vision, like I wanted it to be like this live, and then we were like, let's put it on the record, like why not? And it's just like in the brass, like we played this live at the first time, and I was so excited. Next on the list is a song basically kind of about the same thing, but instead of just being like, I'm happier without you, it's actually acknowledging your part in it and being like, I don't actually want to hold on to this bitterness towards someone. I want to like be free of it, because, you know, after a certain point, you're the one carrying it around, not them.
freedom to lose that part of you that forgot the weight of my heart. You know it's bruised, I know that it's still killing me, not killing you. Don't wanna be bitter, don't wanna be bitter about you. You've been calling me to come back, saying you've changed. I know better than that, you wanted freedom.
So this is another song that was kind of written towards the beginning of the journey. I've mixed them all together because I didn't want it to be like this half happy, this half sad. That wouldn't feel right to me. This balance kind of, when I was choosing the album track listing, felt like the right one to me. But this was one of the early stages where kind of back to that almost like bite me mentality, when you're not with someone but you're not sure that they haven't moved on, and you're kind of, your imagination kind of runs wild with you, and you're like, are they with someone? Like, do I know that person? Am I gonna bump into them together? Like, holy crap, like, have they moved on without me, basically? And this was all the wild imagination that I had.
Something will always bring me back to you. It's like I'm frozen in something broken, darling. Now my heart's so heavy, I can barely.
So that's Someone New. Which still gets me, like, every time I sing it, like, just really takes me back to that place. It's actually crazy. The next song is also more towards the melancholic ending, but kind of, yeah, probably as sad as it gets before it hopefully lifts out into a more positive ending. So this is a song about your subconscious trying to pinpoint the exact moment that someone stopped loving you. And it's a really painful thing to go through. But for some reason our brains just won't let it go, especially when you can't really tell. So this is called The Last Day That You Loved Me.
Hey, I'm not crazy. Could you just tell me so I don't feel inside? Was that the last day that you loved me? When did it all fall apart?
So this is a fun one because this song was actually written in this room, and I haven't been here for like coming up 3 years, so that's kind of crazy. Kind of where the first song for this album was written, and like we're here just as the album's being finished, so it's a kind of nice bookend to this journey. But this song is another song that you guys picked during the lockdown live streams. Every week you were helping me, giving me your feedback, and the wolf emoji was very heavily used with this one. So this is Wolves. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it with like more of a production than just me on my own every single week. So let's get Wolves. And this is about, even when you're not with someone, just like knowing like if it was the end of the world, that like they'd be there for you still, you know? Can I Jump is one of my favourite songs on the album, and I was talking about like, you know, being engaged to be married, and I was like, this is such a huge moment, and it's something I never thought that I'd be lucky enough to feel. But then I was like, there is a huge amount of fear with it. I don't know what it is, but it's like this massive leap of faith, and I don't know, like, can I jump? But it actually helped me like sort of acknowledge those fears, even though like you can love someone so much, but it's a scary thing to do. It's a big life, you know, moment.
I don't think my heart can take any promises to break. Wanna take a leap and make the rest. Can I jump? Love you all the way. Give you everything I've got.
I Feel Love, again, was from that same writing trip. It was Jesse Shakin and this guy called Rayball, and they were like, but how are you feeling? And basically I was like, I feel almost embarrassed to say, but I feel really happy. And I feel love, like that's actually the truth. And they were like, why can't you say that? And I was like, I write sad songs, I can't write happy songs. That's embarrassing. And it felt like a celebration to acknowledge that the happiness and the feeling of love in that moment and to enjoy it, you know? And it makes me smile every time I hear it.